All right, guys. Once again, we are doing a little Q&A with my favorite guy, um, Tom. It's something that I'm very excited that you're always willing to do this. Uh, and I know that you're. I'm not saying that I'm an experienced YouTuber, but you are new to the game, and I'm very excited uh, uh, that you are so eager to do this for me. And I know you could be spending that much time with you or yourself on your channel. So, as a thank you, I want you to tell us a little bit about what your future goals are, because you're so close to finishing the Scooby Doo game. So
Yes.
what's your future plans with the next few games you're gonna be doing?
Hello, everybody. My name's Fez, Fez4277.
Mm-hmm.
That's my Xbox name. And Brock, it's great talking to you. I love doing this. We've been friends for so long, and this is the fact we don't live anywhere near each other anymore. This is as close as we come to hanging out for right now.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I love doing this to help you, and I appreciate the chance to help me out on my channel.
Yep.
My channel is pretty new. As you said, I've been playing Scooby-Doo. My channel itself, I'm going to go with some more classic games.
Right.
Because, you're uploading Valhalla,
Yep.
as you play it. Well, I have access to a bunch of, older games. I'm like, how cool would it be to, with Scooby-Doo? First of all, who doesn't love Scooby-Doo?
Right.
And second, some people might not even know this game existed, let alone how interesting it is or how stupid it is, one of the two,
Right.
Maybe there's a reason you didn't hear that game. And that one seemed like a far off enough game that, a lot of people might not know about it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to bring back some of the old school games to life, and in my personal opinion, video games themselves, in general, have lost a lot, especially with online play now.
Yep.
Because you get into it, you get a new game, $80 in, you're so happy, it's got no story mode, and it's there just so you to shoot your friends online.
Yep.
There. Will that do?
That's disappointing and a waste of money to me.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to bring back the spirit of older gaming, which I'm glad Valhalla is doing. I'm not playing new games, just my channel is older games.
Correct.
So I love that Valhalla was pure story, no bullshit.
Right.
I liked it. My next thing I'm going to do is Pokemon Blue.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
You were saying
I
about
think
that.
I've mentioned this to you before on your channel. It's going to be the Nuzlocke challenge of Pokemon Blue, which is a new set of rules, which works with all Pokemon games. There are a couple different rules and basically a way to make it more difficult.
Right.
So, basically it's like the Pokemon's version of Zelda's 3 Heart Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So the main rules is that any Pokemon that faints is considered dead
Right.
and must be released or put into the storage system permanently.
Yep.
That's it, it's dead. And the player may only catch the first wild Pokemon encountered in each area and none else. So I walk into the Viridian Forest and there's a Caterpie. That's all I get out of the Viridian Forest.
Right.
Now, that sucks because in the original ones, that's where you got Pikachu early on.
Oh yeah, but Ned put a
So-
slim chance in finding it too.
Another rule that a lot of people generally use, it's not officially a rule, but is pretty universal, is the player must nickname all of their Pokemon.
Yep.
Kind of helps build that emotional team bit. And one rule, I think I might make a slight exception to this, is that the player may only use Pokemon they have captured. So, say you get it through a trade or one of those mystery gift Pokemon that just show up.
Yep.
They don't count. You can't use them. I think I might make the exceptional rule only for the starter.
Right.
Look at that.
And the player may not voluntarily rest and reload the game whenever things go wrong. So it's basically a one playthrough challenge. Again, harder to do on a channel,
Right.
but
Is your shield supposed to...
little harder to do, but we'll come to that bridge when we get there because I got to start recording that soon.
Oh yeah.
Your shield is failing, Builder. They're passing through.
So
that's what I'm going to next. Hope you watch. Hope you enjoy it.
Oh yeah. So.
And I'm going to be doing it with commentary because we got to talk about it.
Yes. So before we end the intro, let me ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how fun has the Scooby-Doo walkthrough been for you?
I'm gonna give it about an 8.
Okay.
Because I'd actually started recording about half that gameplay like a year ago.
Okay.
So I was hoping to come back in. I got a new computer, and I'm one of those things. They changed everything on me again, kind of like when PlayStation or Xbox updates.
Right.
And you go, why?
Mm-hmm.
But so by the time I'd gotten around and finished figuring out how to recapture on my new computer and all that, I'd kind of lost what was happening.
Right.
So I couldn't really do a commentary.
This shield?
Because I was originally going to have a commentary, even if it was just like reading the dialogue or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to be,
Show me.
doing something. And that kind of fell apart because I wanted to get things started, and so I did.
Right.
And that was one of those, just because of the timing. I'd probably give it a 9, but that timing experience kind of messed with me a little bit.
Oh yeah. All right. So then, as per usual, we've been doing this type of gameplay together for, I'd say this is like our third one, if I'm not mistaken. So you're not new to the whole concept where I send you questions.
Yep.
I've sent you more than what you sent me, so for every one section that I sent you, like the pictures that hold the questions,
Right.
for every one that you finish, I'll answer 2 of yours.
Are you sure?
Yeah, so
Okay.
So let's start off with okay, so let's start off with okay, so for the Valkyrie, let's start off with the section. So, me and you have been talking, and you were a little shocked that I sent you questions about Thor, Loki, and the Valkyrie because
Yeah.
the whole thing with they were in the MCU. So that threw you off, like, okay, why are you sending me this? And I was like, oh, well, they're in the gameplay that we're gonna be recording together. And then you were like, oh, okay, that works.
Yeah.
So.
And that was because I was a little buzzed and read and went.
Oh yeah. So the first section is for the Valkyries. So you are aware that it's a very fierce form of women military that fought for the Norse.
Yes.
So my question 1 is, I know the Valkyrie can't be. I don't think the Valkyrie can be men. If they can be, then please correct me in the comments below. But assuming the Valkyrie can just be women, how would you feel about an army of men for the Valkyrie?
Well, I think in the Nordic case of the case that we're looking for right now, I believe you're right that they are women.
Okay.
But in other versions, the Valkyrie are men as well.
Okay, that I did not know.
So everybody knows the song "Flight of the Valkyrie" because it was really, it's in all the Vietnam War movies. It was the German song.
Yep.
That itself, I believe, had men in it. That version of the Valkyrie.
Okay.
So, it's one of those, just like I'd said about other gods from like the Greeks and the Roman gods, where they were so similar that you have to like stop and go, wait, what?
Yeah.
Between the two of them.
Yeah.
I think it's the same way. And I think that personally, I think the army of women is way scarier.
Right. Correct.
I mean, it's one of those things. Oh, I got my friends on the football team to beat you up. Yeah, no kidding. I got my girlfriend to beat you up. Oh.
Right?
She's kind of mean. So that's how I was looking at it going, Not to mention, in any version of the Valkyrie, they were not pleasant.
Right, right.
They meant it. They didn't just kill you. They ate you, then killed you.
Right, and the fact that you know, going back to the MCU, in the film Ragnarok, how they introduced Hela, you know, the daughter of Odin, the sister of Thor, the firstborn. Without a second thought, they fought her, like, without thinking, like, hey, their life are at stake, like. That's like scary itself, like knowing you're gonna like knowing that the Norse gods can kill you at any second, but you go fight them. Like how do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, why would you bother?
Right. Perfect. So then, question two of 3. I'm sort of making this like MCU versus the DCU, and
that was also what was helping confuse me.
Yes. So okay, I got you. Okay, so if you were to see a war go on right in front of you, who would you put your money on, the Valkyrie or the Wonder Woman clan? I don't know the term for what they were.
They were the Amazons.
Yes. Okay. So who would you put your money on?
Oh, the Valkyrie. That's without missing a beat, the Valkyrie. Because like I said, the Valkyrie were brutal, even if they were men, women, or mixed. The Amazon were fierce warriors by no means. I mean, those guys would also kill you.
Right.
There's a reason that Gal Gadot was so natural playing Wonder Woman, because she's practically an Amazon anyway.
Right.
But it's almost like if you think in reference to Odyssey, where they were in the Peloponnesian Wars and it was Athens versus Sparta, and the Athenians were more known for their thinking. That doesn't mean that they couldn't fight. They were capable warriors.
Right.
But the Spartans were on such a different level.
Yeah.
That it's kind of like that. The Valkyrie, there's a reason that, you know, you don't really hear, even in today's culture where things like that are starting to come back, you know, when a helicopter takes off, they don't play Amazon theme music. They play Flight of the Valkyrie.
Right.
And that's based on those gods from how long ago?
Oh God.
You know, so think about it. The Amazon, you know, protect the world and all that, but yeah, the Valkyrie conquer the universe. So.
Damn.
Yeah, they were brutal.
Okay, so then let me ask you. So for the third final question for the Valkyrie, what could the Valkyrie benefit from Thor joining side with a military of Valkyrie?
Well, I'm not entirely sure what they couldn't benefit. I mean, except for they might not need Thor, but you know, we want him anyway.
Right. Yeah, I really don't know what the difference between you know, an army of Valkyrie. Like, we know Thor is the god of thunder.
Yeah.
And Thor is a massive figure in the Norse mythology.
Yes.
So, you know, based on, you know, I hate to go back to it, but based on the movies, what we've seen, what he can do and what he can't do, I don't know. I feel like I'm going against my question here, and I feel like Thor, you know, would be an overkill. So I do agree with you. Like, there is nothing that, you know, they could benefit a lot from him, but there's not really much, you know, that they could, like. There's not much of a difference if they went into war with him than if they did without him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem necessary. Wow, my day just got easier, but we didn't really need him to be here.
Right.
I mean, I'm glad you're here, but you know.
It's like, hey, thanks, buddy, but you know, no, please no.
Feel free to sleep in tomorrow.
Okay, so we finished the Valkyrie. That was a little rough. I really didn't have a lot of questions for Valkyrie, but I couldn't just send 1 or 2 questions.
Right.
So we'll move to your first question.
Okay.
where it is your first and second question, which is
What is the saddest death in Assassin's Creed?
So I thought a little bit on this, and it
Right,
was
right.
it wasn't a death that
Okay.
really moved me, but it was a moment that really
Okay.
moved me. So as you know, I really didn't have a father figure within my life growing up. So
Right.
it actually has to deal with Odyssey, where he threw his own child.
Oh yeah.
That is what really happened. Like there was a lot of sad deaths, a lot of sad moments, but what really hit hard was this father that, you know, he was affectionate toward his kids. He loved his wife. He loved, like we saw that he loved war, yes, but when he came home, you could just see the love in his eyes with his kids, and the fact that he had to, I think it was his king ordered it, or his leader, the leader of the Spartans.
Something like that.
Yeah.
His hands were fairly well tied.
Yes, and it's like
It was basically one kid or the entire family and himself.
exactly. So he was, and I don't know. I feel like that was that was my saddest. In your opinion, what was the saddest death or the saddest moment in Assassin's Creed?
See, I found that one hard because they would give you so many, and every once in a while they'd give you one like, why did they have to die?
Right.
Like seriously, what was that for? I think mine also.
I fear the price is
Wait.
too high.
Yeah, also might have to be Odyssey,
You.
and that was when they killed young Phoebe. Because like seriously, I mean the worst part is you knew it was coming because she was always so reckless. You're like, yeah, she's gonna die.
Yep.
And then they did it, and you're like, what the fuck?
You're like, why?
Why did they kill her like that?
I told them it was your choice
Oh
alone.
yeah.
I'm sure that'll change next time I go through and replay and remember somebody that died that I almost forgot was
Yep.
there.
Yep.
But I will say one of the more moving
I evaded his question to gain us time.
bits
Time
was
to devise a better idea.
in Black Flag. I believe he's walking down to the ship to meet his daughter,
Right.
and he's walking by all of his friends, even though they're dead.
Yep.
That was pretty moving too. I did like that one.
So then, your second question.
Yes.
Most important historical figure to both history and the game.
Yep. So like that, I mean, like seriously, like in Odyssey we meet, Hippocrates, who created the Hippocratic Oath, which is still in use today
Right.
for medical. Now, see, that guy had a huge contribution to history when you realize that almost 3,000 years later we're still using what he said.
Right.
And how much did he affect both history and the game or
Right.
the player? That's where I was going for with that question.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with the same game.
Loki, bring this offer to the building.
Staying with Odyssey.
For Odyssey.
Okay.
And this one's gonna be different because I don't know if it is. Like I know it's not, but I don't know if it. Do you remember the person who at the end of the game, you had to, I believe it was like in a cave or whatever, and he kept all the. Oh fuck! It's. Shit. You go down in your cave. You go down in the cave and you meet him. He's a hollow. No, he dies at the end of it. He dies like right after he speaks to you and everything. But you have to go find this. You have to go find the stuff to complete the puzzle. And shit, I'll have to think. I'll have to. I didn't. I thought I had his name.
Right.
Oh fuck.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of his
Yeah,
name. either.
he's at the very end of the game. He's at the very end of the game. But you go down and there's like a bunch of chambers, and he's telling you, that he kept this place alive, blah blah blah. Now it's your turn, and then you have to go take over. But I really didn't find a important person in the game that I was like, oh shit, that guy's who did this and that.
Right. Well, and you know me, I'm a history person, so I get some of these jokes or connections
Oh yeah.
way deeper than some people do. kind of like in Origins when Bayek's wife just totally screws him over, leaves him, and basically they start the Brotherhood.
Yep.
Which I thought was kind of bullshit. I mean, seriously, he got fucked harder than anybody else in that game. But she changes her name, and I'm sitting there going, why does that sound familiar? And then it clicked. In Assassin's Creed 2, when you have to go get Altair's armor and you have to do the Assassin's tombs.
Yep.
One of her tombs is the one you go to. And I said, oh, that's cool. That's such a great connection.
Right.
So that, like that was one of those things. I've played so much of the Assassin's Creed I got.
Right.
That would go by a lot of people just cause.
Correct.
Which is part of, like I said, about my gaming channel, because if you saw that, you might recognize that from watching my stuff,
Yeah. So we're at the part of the game right now where we're actually fighting one of Loki's children, and it goes by the name of Fenrir, Fenrir. Fenrir, the wolf, is the fiercest and most vicious of all the creatures. Thanks to the prophecies noting that the wolf's growth and ferocity, the gods decided he must be bound. They tried two strong chains when the wolf broke easily before commissioning the dwarfs to create it. So the one you fight in the game is the wolf. So
yes.
That led me to ask you about the children of Loki. So you know about Loki, the god of mischief, the brother of Thor.
Yeah.
So my first question, I'm trying to reword it now that I'm actually saying it out loud. It was gonna say, as children of Loki, how do they differ and act like their father? So my question is, if they can shapeshift into an animal, but Loki can shapeshift into whatever he wants, what's the difference between Loki turning into an animal versus his kids who naturally transform into any animal they want?
Okay, well, I would have to say a big difference. I mean, obviously we're playing with the gods here, so
right.
It's on another level, but I was going to say, so, like, as Fenrir, who can turn into a wolf,
yep,
like, just naturally, I would assume he's a little more naturally gifted into it, like, can blend into the crowd better.
Correct.
Than Loki can. Well, Loki could hide anywhere. Fenrir could hide as a wolf so well that he could never be hidden, which is, I believe, part of why he was so scary.
Right.
Because you didn't know if it was just just like with Loki, but
yeah,
you knew he was a wolf.
Yep.
And which one?
Right.
Either way, you're surrounded by wolves and they're totally fucked. But I would assume that would be a big one. Kind of like eternally playing hide and seek.
Right.
Kind of. And with Loki being able to change into anything he wants, that would make him obviously more qualified to be the god, trickster god.
Right. Yes.
While his might be a little less perfect in his transformations. He can be anything. And that just seems like, I mean, in all fairness, if I could transform into anything, I would have so much fun with that. In just about any possible way you can think of, going from as perverted as you want to as smart as you want,
Right.
It just seems to me that, and as a parent, he'd want that. Of course, not that he was a great father in any version of that story.
Oh, yeah. So, my next one, oh God, these names are so hard to pronounce. So his other child's name is Jormungand. For humans, at least, there are few creatures more important than Jormungand, also known as the Midgard serpents. He encircles the earth, keeping everything in place. He is the child of Loki, and the Jutnun. Oh God, I'm not reading that. Along with his brother, who we just discussed, and was tossed into the ocean by Odin. The serpent grew so large that he was able to surround Midgard and grasp his own tail. The one we're speaking about right now, his arch enemy is Thor, the god of thunder.
Right.
The end of days begins when the child of Loki releases his tail and comes out of the ocean to poison the sky. He will be slain by Thor, who then drops down dead from being poisoned by his venom. Mutually assured destruction. So, then that led me to ask the question, when I get there... Oh God, I hate... So, if these two had teamed up, how could these two change life as we know it?
Well, even in the Nordic stories here, Thor and Loki were not really equal. Thor was always clearly the favored brother, the more powerful brother.
Correct.
So if you were to team up and basically have Loki's son with him, it would probably change a lot. I mean, kind of like if in the same way in Star Wars, if Vader could have convinced Luke to join the dark side.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, I would assume it would be something kind of like that, except whatever his name is, I am your uncle.
Right.
It doesn't translate as well.
Oh
but,
no.
You know.
So then, how would the children of Loki affect Midgard and the world if they were to form like a unbreakable team? Because eventually, I think Thor would convince Loki that he has to put a stop to this, and then would force Loki to take his kids out. So, do you think that Loki would join his kids, or do you think he would unfortunately join Thor to put a stop to all this?
I would think he would join his kids really just because of how much he hates his brother, both in the Disney universe and in the non-Disney universe. Loki always hated Thor.
Oh yeah, yep.
So I think he would start out definitely with his kid's side, and I would assume it would be like some version of the classic story of, they won't hurt me, I'm their father, and then they end up being together more powerful than him and kind of turn on him.
Yeah.
And if they don't kill him, he would probably end up joining Thor.
Yeah.
As basically some plot to try to take out his kids and then kill Thor in the process and take over.
Yeah, see, that is also what I was just thinking. So if Jorm could take out Thor, like how the Norse mythology says, if he took out Thor and then that left the wolf cub and Loki alone, like would Loki be more sad for his kid's death, or would he be sad for Thor's death?
You swore an oath.
Probably, actually, I would have to say he would be fairly neutral to that, because I mean, yeah, he'd feel the loss and probably the hole there,
Right.
the void, but at the same time, I could see Loki kind of going, sweet, 2 down, 1 to go.
Right.
I could see him being pretty, ha.
It's like, okay. He's like, okay, well, shit.
Well, I guess if it's gonna happen, better him than me, and then
right.
walk away.
So let's move on to your question 3 and 4. Assassin with the most impact to the world. So,
Yep.
I don't want to be biased here.
And I mean the world as, like, literally the entire globe, not like, oh, hey, we saved
Right.
Italy, or we won the war for the Americans. I mean, who had the most impact on the world?
So,
And I will accept Shay Cormac as an answer.
I'm actually gonna go with Edward on this.
Okay.
Because his grandchild, if I'm not mistaken, his son or his grandchild became an assassin, And
his grandchild became Connor Kenway.
yes, and Connor was big in the universe too. Connor was huge. So I mean, yeah, Ezio was the first assassin to be established, and he was in he was in 3, if I'm, but I don't. I feel like generation beats legacy in this, in my opinion.
Okay, because if you go with that, technically, the first like six playable characters in Assassin's Creed are all related anyway.
Right. But
which I both liked and hated.
I'm gonna have to go with him on that. But what about you? What are you thinking?
I was gonna go with Ezio, and I feel really bad by saying that because I think I loved Ezio. Don't get me wrong. I just think he became way too overrated.
Okay.
Way too popular and had way too much screen time. That early in the series. If they were to make it now, he'd actually just be one game.
Oh yeah.
I mean, really, because the size of these games is holy shit. But I really do, because I mean, one, he, as you said, he's related to everybody, so now we're just picking out hairs on the timeline here.
Right.
But he picked up his, father's, basically picked up his father's sword, took the mantle of assassin, saved Renaissance Italy, which at the time was kind of like, major power in the modern world.
Right.
Because by then they might have just discovered, but the New World wasn't a thing. So now we're only talking really about Europe and Asia.
Right.
The world itself was technically still smaller at the time. I know that by then Columbus was sailing, but we didn't really deal a lot with that in the game.
Right.
But then at the end of that, he became the mentor for the entire Brotherhood. He basically rebuilt the whole Brotherhood himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then he not only did that, we see him travel around the world, going back to like Masyaf and all these places with oh man, I can't remember where we were in the third game where we play as Ezio, where we were in the Middle East.
Okay.
We had the hook chain thing.
Yeah.
He was there, and he basically had his hands in everything going on across the world until he died.
Right.
So I gave him that credit there.
So then, since all my questions are done, I'll throw one more into the line before we finish off with your question, with your fourth question.
Sure.
Now I know there's a lot to choose from, but I'm talking about the main story, not mobile games or nothing like that, but from games you've played. Who was the most unnecessary assassin that you feel we could have lived without? Dornio, the guy from Unity.
Okay. The whole game was just so broken, and his story was, I played it and I'm like, there was absolutely no need for this.
Right.
The game was that way, the character was that way. The best part was his girlfriend that was the Templar that died anyway, and that's just because she was a hot redhead.
Touche. Touche.
It was just why the hell what are we doing here?
Right.
The whole game, his whole story, you were supposed to feel bad for him, but I'm like, why?
I would agree with you on that. A lot of the games we've played that really make an impact have a more impactful reason why they joined. Like the one where you're in the pyramids.
Origins.
Yes, Origins. We eventually led down the road where I believe you accidentally killed your own child, if I'm not mistaken. You went to kill somebody, but then you accidentally killed your child. Somehow your kid died, and then that's
Yeah,
what.
I want to say it was because you were going to stab somebody, and he basically just grabs your son and he even shields it, if I remember it.
Yeah, and I feel
Something like that.
I feel like that was probably my favorite, like my favorite push on for someone to be an assassin, because you've lost it all. Like, so why bother anymore? So,
Yeah, and I like how it started as a story that was pure revenge and just wasn't anymore.
yeah, I feel like when he accidentally stabbed his kid, I feel like you saw how
do I find these?
mentally exhausted he was, how broken down, like he had no will to live. So
Yeah, he didn't give a fuck anymore,
Yeah.
which was
yeah,
honestly the biggest mistake in the entire game. If that guy hadn't done that, the kid was still alive. Yeah, they probably all would have gotten away with it.
yeah, but he was like, yeah, no, fuck it, I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna die, and I'm gonna take you with me,
Yes.
and I'm gonna make it hurt too.
Yeah, I feel like that's like, you know, killing a person's wife is like one thing. Like, yeah, that fucking sucks. I mean, me being married.
Yeah.
I mean, me being married. If something were to happen to my wife, the world would like die. But
Yeah.
to lose your child is just. Now, I'm not a dad yet. I'm not there yet. But
Right.
I would think that it'd be hard to choose which would impact somebody more to saying I don't give a fuck. But I feel like for some reason, losing your child is just something you can't come back from.
No, I can tell you it's not.
Yeah.
Because well, you remember I was married.
Yep.
Well, one of the biggest reasons I'm not anymore is because we lost our daughter.
Go.
So
My eyes.
I'm
yeah,
sorry, man.
there
Yeah,
is
that does.
there is just no. I can't even put into words how much that sucks, man.
Yeah.
So
So I feel like that was, you know, the best.
yeah.
Yeah. So are you saying are you saying that you're training to be an assassin?
Well, if I tell you, then I have to
no.
kill you.
No, don't. No.
And what makes you think I wasn't already going to become an assassin?
Oh, no.
Duh.
That's right. That's right.
Oh,
I met you in
wait,
school.
I'm fat.
I met you in school. You might be an assassin. I don't know. You might be.
That's because you knew that I knew how to hide places.
So your fourth question,
Yeah.
and then we'll just go on a tangent. Thoughts on the movie. Now, I briskly watched it. I saw the beginning and then I saw the end. So I really can't put my input on it. The only thing I know is that they haven't really made a second one. So
Yeah.
so
okay.
so let me get your input on it. What did you? Because I didn't watch it. I might watch it after this. But what did you think of it, and how did it follow the lore that is Assassin's Creed?
Well, first of all, I was disappointed in the movie. Multiple reasons.
Okay.
My first one was, this is a 50-50, and I'm not happy. I wasn't going to be happy either way.
Okay.
There were two ways to make this movie. One, you actually make Assassin's Creed the movie, and by that I mean we're Altair, it's the Crusades, you know, I mean we make Assassin's Creed the movie.
Yeah.
Which is probably what I would preferred, but that's not what they did.
Right.
Okay, if you're not going to go that true to the game, but you want it to more or less fit, you have to use a time period that hasn't been used.
Right.
Which they did. Spanish Inquisition. That hadn't been done yet. Which wasn't bad. But that was funny. My friend Mike and I, we when we went to see it in theaters, we were like the only people in the theater, which was kind of weird. But also some of the best times to go watch a movie.
Yep.
Because that's where you can go, fuck you, in the middle of the movie and not everybody cares. But I remember we'd had a couple drinks. I mean, like 5 or 6 shots, nothing big.
Oh yeah.
Because you know me, I can drink. So.
Oh yeah.
And I think I had a flask in my pocket or something like that. We weren't wasted by any means.
Right.
And we were able to predict the lyrics or the dialogue of the movie
Yeah.
as it was coming.
Yeah, that
And I was
sucks.
like,
That sucks.
yeah. I mean, there were some funny parts to it, but there didn't seem to be a lot of connection between the modern story and the historical story. And not in the same way like Assassin's Creed, the first one didn't, and then tied them back up.
Right.
At the end, it didn't really feel like they tied anything up. They set themselves up for another movie, but yeah. And they had good Easter eggs for the movie, but it's again, half of them were Easter eggs. Like I said, Bayek's wife being the other assassin there that, you helped get the armor of Altair in an earlier game.
Yep.
It's like, man, half of the Easter eggs in that movie were so deep that it's like, wait. So, not the best movie ever. Of course I had to get it, because, duh.
Right.
But not their greatest work. Also, the fact I both liked and didn't like it was in the historical, they were using the actual language.
Okay.
With subtitles, as opposed to, like we see in the game where it's in English.
Yes.
They're all speaking whatever language, but it's in English.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, when that's like 60% of your movie, that kind of takes away.
Yeah.
Even in the new Star Trek series, they've done the same thing, where the first half of the series was in another one of the alien languages, and I'm like, okay, I appreciate you using the language here, but come on, I just want to watch the show.
Right.
I don't want to have to read and watch, and I'm somebody that watches with subtitles on, but that's just so I make sure I hear it right.
Oh yeah.
Not that I'm staring at the subtitles. So.
Yeah. So then let me ask you one final question, because we're nearing the end of the video.
Right.
If you could travel to Asgard and you could do one thing for a whole, so you're staying there for a week. You're not going to stay there for a day. If
So I've
you
got
were
some time to explore and play.
If you were immortal, you could not die. Being there, you could not die. What would you do first? Would you eat like Thor, or would you fight alongside Thor?
Oh, I'd probably fight
Ooh.
alongside Thor. Basically, like, how am I going to spend the afternoon? Is that what you're
Yes,
asking me?
yes,
How
yes.
would I do? What would I do on my first day? I'd fight with Thor,
Okay.
or alongside Thor. Basically, it's one of those things where it's like, man, I want to get the work out of the way, and then I'll be hungry enough to eat like him.
To eat like Thor. Oh my god. Like what do you think the man eats? Like
I would assume raw meat, but
just whole cows.
I could be wrong. Maybe that with a little bit of wine.
Oh yes. Another.
Yeah, giant goblet with his pinky out.
Yes, he is fancy. God.
Because if I ate like that first, I wouldn't want to get up and fight.
Right, you would want to sleep like.
I would be in a food coma for the rest of my time in Asgard.
Oh yeah.
Then I would get back and all the calories would hit and I just die.
Oh my god. They would be like, "What happened? You like I ate like a god."
Literally. I ate like a god with a god.
Oh
what
my.
happened? Ow.
Okay.
My second thing would be I'd challenge Thor to a drinking contest, because God, that would be fun to do.
Like to not die but go to your brink with Thor when it comes to drinking.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, I'm not gonna die, so go ahead. Let's do this.
Bottoms up.
Yeah. Literally forever.
See, I would have to go the opposite with you on this one. I would just love to see if I was in battle with Thor. The only thing that I would be thinking about is what awaits me in that kitchen. So I would have to go opposite, and I would actually eat first and nap the entire day, and then I'd be like, all right, Thor, let's fucking go.
Nice. See, I just had the opposite way, because I'm one of those people, like, at work, they're always yelling at me because I never take my lunch break.
Yep.
Because it's one of those, if I go on lunch break and I'm dumb enough to eat something, I come back and we start moving again, now I'm going to throw up.
Oh, and then you're going to be exhausted. See?
Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? I'll eat later. Let's keep working.
See, and the worst part is where I work. It's
Go. Soon.
I can sit down wherever it's possible because I clean the bathrooms and everything. So I can, when you're exhausted, and you clean the bathrooms and all that, it's such a craving to just sit on a toilet and just relax, but you can't because you got to go by the clock.
Pop that seat down and have pop a squat.
Right, but it's like you can't because there's
You're not getting back up.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're like, "Hey, why did you take forever to clean the bathroom?" Like, toilets.
I was so tired, and that thing was just so appealing to sit on for an hour.
Oh. Yeah, no, I feel you, but then when you eat, your stomach's full, you're tired. You just want to go home.
Yeah.
And
I'm in the kitchen, so
Oh yeah. So it looks like we have another 2 minutes.
Okay.
So let me finish off by saying what made you want to start a YouTube channel, and what made you decide on going with old school games? Because it's so easy to buy newer games and start content out of that.
Show me what
But what
Yeah.
made you really lock down on old school games?
Well, like I said earlier, is that there seemed to be more soul to older games.
Okay.
And I've always been the older style gamer anyway.
Yeah.
I remember back when you had to be good at video games
Yep.
to beat them.
Yep.
Because I'm going to use Call of Duty as an example. I remember the fact that you could finish some of those original Call of Duties was like, wow, you beat that?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, oh, hey, I got to camp and I got to snipe everybody and I got to talk shit online and yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there going, no. I had to be good at it.
Yep.
And a great example, I saw this one picture. It was this kid on his phone, and he was playing Pokemon Go,
Mm-hmm.
and his father had a Game Boy,
Yes.
and the kid sitting in the chair, the father's standing up behind the chair, and he's got his Game Boy, and it just said, "No, son, you actually have to catch all 151." And I said that right there. I was like, little things like that, and I found out how easy it is for me to record. At least through my Game Boy right now.
Right.
And I said, oh, that's perfect. 'Cause you don't see a lot of shit like that online.
No.
And I said, I'm going to go with that. Just because it's more my style. It's my play. It just seems to fit me pretty well.
Yeah.
Not to mention if, as an example, Valhalla.
Mm-hmm.
No, or, I'm going to use Red Dead 2. Because that's been out for a while now. So.
Yeah.
How many thousands of other YouTube channels have Red Dead content?
Oh yeah. Yep.
And nothing against your channel. It was just I want mine to be a little different. Maybe that'll stand out a little more.
Yeah.
So and then with you, you and I got back into contact, and I started watching your channel. I said, but that'd be perfect if our channels are different enough like that.
Yeah.
We could work together so well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that's how I was going with it.
Yeah, I mean, I really like that mindset. But we're coming right to the end. We got a few seconds, so once again, guys, his channel will be in the description. I wish him luck, and I'm watching his videos, and he's doing such a great job, and I can't wait to do more projects with you.
Oh yeah, and I've got a list for you, Brock, and I can't tell everybody else, but we got some old school games to, do this with as well.